Okay, we are going to introduce the Cold War today. What is the Cold War? The Cold War is the conflict that existed between the United States and the Soviet Union from 1945 to 1991. It is called cold because the two sides never went to war directly with each other. So it wasn't like World War I or World War II where there was actual fighting going on. So if the United States and the USSR never fought directly, why do we call that a war? Well, many wars were fought between the communists who were supported by the USSR and the anti-communists who were supported by us. The US and the USSR competed for power by using their political, economic, and military clout throughout the world. Both sides felt that their natural survival was at stake because one felt that communism was best, the other felt capitalism was best. So why should we study the Cold War? It has affected U.S. history because it brought the world to the brink of nuclear destruction, which you know about because of the atomic bombs that were dropped at the end of World War II by the United States. People were afraid of the United States after this war because they feared that we could drop an atomic bomb on them. It was the direct cause of the United States wars in the Korean and Vietnam War. It led to the 1969 moon landing and is largely responsible for the U.S. national debt that we still carry some of that weight today. It also shaped the post-World War II era. We came out of World War II looking very good to many other countries. We were a superpower of the world. So, to the brink of nuclear destruction, the United States and the USSR raced to be ahead of one another in atomic warfare, building thousands of nuclear weapons much more powerful than those used in World War II. War in Korea and Vietnam. The United States fought two wars to contain the spread of communism. The spread of communism was seen as a growth in the power of the USSR. Over 100,000 Americans were killed. To the moon. The Soviets and the Americans competed to develop new technologies at this time. So when the Soviets launched their first satellite, the United States wanted to be like them. So they raced to claim the ultimate prize, which was landing on the moon. Did we get that prize? Absolutely. We are still paying, though. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. One reason is that it couldn't keep up with the United States in our defense spending and the spending that we had there. The United States went heavily into debt to beat the Soviets. And shaping the world. Why is there a North and South Korea? Why was there an East and West Germany? So what were these splits because of? Why did the United States support some dictators, but we opposed some free elections? The answer is the Cold War. So what caused the Cold War? The U.S. and the USSR fought against a common enemy in World War II. So what made them become enemies? Why did they all of a sudden not get along? There were philosophical differences, one being the Soviet Union wanted communism and totalitarian dictatorship. The United States wanted free enterprise capitalism and a republic. The World War II conflicts. The Soviets wanted British and Americans to open a second European front earlier in the war, but we weren't involved in the war yet. The United States also secretly developed the atomic bomb. And then post-war conflicts. The Soviet Union refused to live up to wartime promises of elections in Eastern Europe, and the United States made efforts to resist Soviet expansion. What did all of these cause? The Cold War. Cause number one, mistrust. The two nations didn't trust each other. Okay, it's like when you and a friend maybe don't get along. They're not trusting each other. Each felt that the other was out to undermine the other person. So when disagreement arose, both sides assumed the worst. So for example, the Soviets remembered the attempt by U.S. forces to overthrow communist government during their civil war. The United States felt that Stalin had broken promises about free elections in Eastern Europe after World War II. Cause number two, competition for power. The U.S. and the USSR emerged from World War II as the most powerful nations in the world. Both wanted to create a new world order that would protect their interests. Often, the two sides would disagree on what that should be. This produced conflict. Cause number three was competing ideologies. An ideology is a way of looking at the world or a system of beliefs. The Soviets wanted communism. The Americans wanted capitalism. Pretty basic. So, why did the United States hate and fear communism? Why were we afraid of it? Karl Marx wrote the Communist Manifesto in 1848. In this book, he explained his ideas on communism. This became a model for the communist governments of the 1900s. Quotes from Marx about communism. The theory of communists may be summed up in a single sentence: abolition of private property. So meaning that the nation is going to take control of businesses in the way that markets are run. Communism abolishes all eternal truths. It abolishes all religion. The communists openly declare that their ends can be attained only by the forcible overthrow of all existing social conditions. Let the ruling class tremble at a communist revolution. The proletarians have nothing to lose but their chains. They have a world to win. Working men of all countries unite. So to summarize, communism favors collective or community ownership of property. The government, acting for the people, makes economic decisions. Communists seek to overthrow existing governments in revolutions. So why did Americans dislike it? Many felt communism discouraged hard work and promoted laziness. It took away personal freedom and individuality. And it was opposed to religion. These are all things and reasons why people come to America, is for that new way of life and to have individuality and be who they would like to be. The USSR was a brutal dictatorship, and people equated communism with dictatorship. So that was one of the large problems here. Now you will watch your video from World War to Cold War on the class website.